For the last few years, I've had a very bad habit of having not the healthiest breakfast. I absolutely love fresh bread with salted butter and strawberry jam, and I could eat it until the cows come home. I could literally have it for every meal, and I've been having it for breakfast since I can remember, since I was a kid, and I used to have cereals, but after that, yeah, toast is my thing. And I know that it's not the healthiest breakfast, and I have finally, in the last few months, actually managed to wean myself off it. I allow myself to have my toast with butter and jam on a Sunday morning as a special treat, and then the rest of the week I am having a much healthier breakfast. So I googled what the healthiest breakfast is, and obviously there's more than one, but one of them is like a granola with lots of seeds and nuts and natural yogurt and maybe a bit of fruit. And so I thought, that sounds okay, let's see. So I started doing a few things, and eventually I was like, no, I want to make it myself. So if you remember last year, I actually made my own yogurt, and I have been making yogurt every week since. I make a litre from a litre of milk, and I put it in one of these big jars here, and it lasts me the whole week. I will leave the video linked here with the instructions on how I do that in case you're interested, but it's really simple. I was so surprised at how easy it is, and it's so worth it because you get a whole litre of natural yogurt and you can add whatever you want to it. If you like it a little bit sweeter, I like to add some maple syrup to it, and it's so good and it's so creamy. All you need is a small pot of natural yogurt with the live fermenti in it and a litre of milk, and all you have to do is heat the milk up to, I can't remember what temperature, but I think about 170 degrees, and then you let it cool down to 110 degrees. You add the yogurt, mix it up, stick it somewhere warm for about 6 hours to set, and then stick it in the fridge overnight. That's it. That's how easy it is. And last week I decided to go one step further and make my own muesli or granola. So I did, and I have overcooked it a little bit too much. So today we're going to make some more because this is nearly finished anyway. And I thought I would do it with you and show you what I have for breakfast. Before I do this, I'm actually going to have some breakfast because I haven't had any yet. So this is what I do. I take about, depending on the size of the banana, a third or a half of a banana, chop it up into little bits, chopping board optional. I take some of my yogurt, some of my granola, and this I have added some chopped almonds and some sugar-free puffed rice. I haven't put any fruit in it because I'm adding my fruit fresh. So a little bit of that. And I actually put some chia seeds in this, and they've all sunk to the bottom because they're too light. So I won't be doing that next time. I will keep the chia seeds separate and add some separately. And maybe a little bit of nectarine as well, because it's nice and crunchy and fresh. Just chop it into pieces. Really should be using a chopping board. There we go. And I might add a splash of oat milk to that. That's my breakfast. Now I need some applesauce for this recipe. It will help stick the granola together. And applesauce is not something that's very easily available in Italy, so I'm just going to quickly make some. I'm just going to peel an apple, chop it into little pieces and put it in a small pan with some water and boil it for a while. And then I can stick it in the blender and blend it, and it will be applesauce. So this is a very low sugar recipe because that's what I'm trying to get out of my breakfast, is the extra sugar. I know the sugar in the fruit that I'm using, but I'm only using a little bit of fruit, not a huge amount. Now I think granola recipes are very versatile. I've tried a few different ones and I've sort of taken my favourite bits of all of them. So obviously your main ingredient is going to be oats, porridge oats. And I managed to get a nice bag of organic porridge oats from the market in Livorno a while back. So I'm going to put, these are what? These are half cups. So I'm going to put four half cups. That would be 2 cups, wouldn't it? Now I've lost count. How many is that? Is that 3? I think I'm putting in 2 cups of oats, and then I'm gonna, this is a mix of pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. I'm just gonna shove a load of those in. See, I'm not measuring anything, I'm literally just shoving stuff in. Now, I've got this puffed rice here, but I'm not gonna put that in before, I'll put that in afterwards because I don't want that to cook and burn, because I think that'll burn very quickly. And I've got some almonds and cashews, and I'm gonna chop them up and add them as well. You know what it's like these days, you're on social media and you're scrolling and it looks like everybody's got a perfect life, and you start to compare and you start to think that your life isn't as it should be. And I think lately in the last few weeks I felt a bit frustrated, even though I know my life is brilliant and I'm very lucky with what I've got. I feel like I'm not living up to my potential, and I feel like I could be taking better care of myself, I could be eating healthier, and I felt like it's time to try and do something about it. And rather than having a massive change and starting from scratch, I thought I'm just going to do it bit by bit and add little things at a time. I started with the toast and jam. I started eating less toast and butter and jam and doing alternate days, and then I was, every now and again, I've tried the whole intermittent fasting thing. I can't do it. It's impossible. I don't know whether it's Italy. It's just the more I try to eat my meals near each other, the more further away they get. So I can easily skip breakfast, and I'll have breakfast at like 11 in the morning, which I can do easily. But then it's lunch and the dinner that's the problem. So we often end up having lunch around about 2, half 2 in the afternoon, which is quite late. And then often for dinner, we end up having dinner way later than we should, like 8:30, 9, because the sun's still out at 8:30 here. It's really hard to realise that it's dinner time because the sun's still out. In Positano, the sun has gone behind the mountain by about 5 or 6 o'clock. So you know the evening's coming and you start getting ready for it. But here it's not like that at all. It's very misleading. Anyhow, I thought I would start with the small things. So this week it's the breakfast, and then maybe next week I will add something else into my getting healthy routine, and just taking it slowly. But I thought I'd share it with you and see if anyone wants to join in with me. So what else do I want to add to that? I need to add the wet ingredients. So there's going to be a big scoopful of peanut butter, a spoonful of coconut oil. At the moment it's so hot here, my coconut oil is completely liquid. So I'm just gonna have to do that. Now you could add cinnamon to this if you want. You could add more maple syrup. I'm not going to because I've got the applesauce. I need to buy some more peanut butter. Next week, I'm going to try and take you to the supermarket with me. I know usually in Italy, you're not supposed to film in supermarkets in Italy. But I'm going to try and do it in stealth mode and take you with me and pick up some of the ingredients for this and other things that I want to get, and just show you generally the difference between shopping here and shopping in Positano, because of course in Positano we don't have supermarkets. So we go to the butchers, the fishmongers, the fruit and veg store and the grocery store, and get everything separately, and there's obviously a much more limited choice because the store's very, very small. Here we've got 2 proper supermarkets, both within 10 minutes drive, which is fantastic. So it's really interesting to see the different things on offer, and me and Carlo have really been enjoying ourselves doing the weekly shopping. We get a lot of stuff, we do get a lot of stuff in the markets. There's a local market on Saturday morning and there's another bigger one on Friday, and we often go there and pick up stuff. We've shown the big market already a few times, but it's time to try and get to the supermarket and see if we can do a bit of filming there without being caught. Now, of course, I am not claiming that this is the healthiest breakfast in the world. I'm sure it isn't, but it's definitely healthier than butter and jam and fresh white bread, so it's a start. So I'm now just going to mix the applesauce in with the peanut butter, the coconut oil, the oats, the seeds and the nuts. So get an oven tray with a piece of paper, pour out your granola. And the trick is, and I learnt this from last, so basically I'm not measuring anything, and I've done it slightly different from the last one I've done. I've added an extra scoopful of oats into this one. It feels quite wet, but last time it did work. So I think the trick is to roll it out as flat as you can. I think I left it too thick last time. So you need a rolling pin, which I don't have. And then it needs to be cooked for about 45 minutes, and I can't remember what temperature, so I'm gonna have to look that up. I basically Googled the recipe and just mixed, I think I mixed about 3 recipes together. I took out the cinnamon in one, I added the coconut oil from another one, I added the applesauce from one, I added the cashews and almonds because I wanted them. So, I mean, really, you can make it how you want it, but I think you definitely need to get it as flat as you can, so that it cooks and crisps up. That's what it needs to do, it needs to crisp up. So I'm going to put that in the oven 20 minutes, and then you have to sort of break it up and flip it. So you're not going to flip it in one go, so just use this basically and flip all the bits, and 20 minutes on the other side so it crisps up nicely. I'm just adding a little pinch of salt to it as well. Of course, what have I done? I've forgotten to put the timer on. I went off to do something else. It's been in the oven for about 40 minutes and I haven't turned it over, and it's all slightly burnt. Same as the one I did last time. But I think it's just about edible. Come do cooking tutorials with Nikki. She gets it wrong every time. Alright, so I'm going to leave that to cool. I'll leave it for a few hours to cool and then put it in the jar with some of the puffed rice. Not the best demonstration, but with practice we might get there.